Hello, everyone, and welcome to Evolve Yourself TV. I am Agni James, and tonight we are going to be doing a guided meditation, and that's it. We're going to talk a little bit, do a guided meditation, and then we're going to end. That's kind of what we've been doing these days. Hey, Ignorant, good to see you, friend. How you doing? How's everything going with you? And Petey's here. Hey, how's life? How's the world? How's the universe? How's everything going in your world today? I actually had a cool experience today. I got to go to Inspiritus Alchemy. It's for a meditation myself. Typically, I'm the one doing the meditations, and tonight I actually got to go and participate in one. And it was really cool because Gina, the owner of the studio, actually is a yoga instructor as well, and she incorporated a bunch of yoga and other stuff into it. So it was neat to have that mixture of yoga and meditation. Especially because my yoga studio recently closed. I'd been doing Bikram yoga there for the last 11 years, and it just shut down a couple of weeks ago. So I've been a little bummed out. But now, I got to do some yoga with some friends, and it was good. But yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on in my world. Oh, also, I decided I was going to clean my grill like thoroughly. I've never given my grill a really thorough cleaning. So today I decided to do that, and it was, it was pretty ridiculous. I spent 3.5 hours or so just, detailing my grill and getting all the stuff out, and getting everything nice and in order and perfectly clean. And it was quite an ordeal. Let me tell you that it was quite an ordeal. Hey, Danny John's here. How's it going? Good to see you. I was just talking about cleaning out the grill. It was quite the ordeal today. I don't know how many of you have cleaned out your grills anytime recently, but if you have like a big propane grill and you've let it just kind of sit in a state of disarray for like 10 years and just you use it all the time, and then one day you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go clean this thing out. It's gonna be a little bit more of an ordeal than you think it's gonna be. It's gonna be a little bit more of a challenge. So I was my hand was kind of locked up from scrubbing the grates and from just doing all that stuff. My hand felt like crazy after that because there was so much baked on like grease and just all sorts of crazy stuff. It was intense. Petey, you say, haha, the grill is all clean for... Oh, you're smart. Yeah, you got the grill all clean for the winter. Absolutely. I'm intense, and I actually cook out in winter. Like, it'll be snowing outside, because I have my grill on my balcony. And, so I'll go out there, and I'll just walk out there barefoot in the snow and just start and throw stuff on the grill. Because I like the grill because then you don't have to clean, like, pots and pans. You throw it on the grill. The mess is contained outdoors. When you cook on the stove, you're always making a mess. Stuff splatters. You get like tomato sauce, all over. You get oil that's like popping out of the pan every now and then. But when you cook on the grill outside, it's like whatever. A little bit of stuff gets outside. It doesn't matter as much. Danny John, you say never. You've never cleaned a grill. Well, maybe you should try someday. It's quite an experience. So let me tell you. Next time my grill gets dirty, I'm gonna have you come on over and clean my grill. We'll see how much you like it. Danny John, you say it's from the pizza logs. Oh yeah, soap on a rope. That's right. Yeah, I was cooking those pizza Italian sausages. They were Italian sausages filled with pizza stuffing, and those are really good. By the way, they're called are they called pizza on a rope? I don't remember what they're called now. I can't recall. But there's something like pizza on a rope, and basically they're Italian sausages filled with all the really yummy mozzarella, pepperoni, green pepper, just all the good pizza stuff. And those things are great. But the problem is every now and then, one pops, and then all that juice and all that mozzarella kind of seeps down into everything, and you're left wondering why the hell you even bought the thing, because now you got a shriveled up sausage that doesn't taste like pizza. But they're good. They're good when they work. Let's see, PD, you say a smoker is really fun too. Smokers are great. I've never had one. I've never owned one, but my one of my really good friends, Mark, has one, and he's always cooking on it. He's always got stuff in there and giving stuff, unique flavors and all that. And I'm not that fancy. I'm not that fancy of a guy. I like to take my Italian sausage, throw them on a grill. Take my burgers and brats. Put them on there, throw a couple steaks on the grill. And that's what I like to do, Chicago style. That's why we talk in Chicago like this. But yeah, that's yeah, Danny John, you got it, Chicago style, all style light, Chicago style, huh? You want to come from somewhere else? Not as good as Chicago, let me tell you. But yeah, so that's what we do in Chicago. But yeah, it's just kind of like I like to just take the meat, throw it on the grill, and just go with it. I don't like to mess around too much. That's kind of how I do it. Let's see. Danny John, you say you need a Chicago style. That's actually something I was talking. So my buddy, those you don't know, my buddy Jason Denali, he actually made all of my emotes, the entire collection. And I actually mentioned to him that at some point I want a Chicago style emote, but I don't want to push it because the guy's been super kind and generous, and he's made all these beautiful emotes for me already. So I'm not really looking to push it, but yeah, I mean, sometime in the future I'm gonna mention it to him again, and be like, hey, if you ever come up with a cool idea for a Chicago style emote, that would be awesome. But I have all the main ones. I got the heart, I got the wave now, I got the prayer hands. And I got it all. I got the fire lotus. PD, no, I have a propane grill. I'm not a charcoal guy. I don't even think you're allowed to have. Since I live in a condo, I don't think you're allowed to put a charcoal grill on your balcony. I think you're only allowed to have propane. So I have just a decent propane grill out there. It's the same grill I've had for 10 years, and I had to buy a replacement heat shield, the part that goes over the burner, because my old heat shield's rusted through. So now a lot of the grease and all that stuff was dripping down onto the actual burners, and it was clogging up some of the holes and all that. So I just ordered today some a replacement heat shield to put on that. So I'm excited to get that going, because then I'll have a uniform distribution of heat. Because right now when I cook, it's some of the holes are have fire coming out of them, and some of them don't, from the burner. So it's kind of weird, it doesn't cook evenly. So we'll see what happens. I also cleaned off the burners. I took a paper clip and actually went in and cleaned out every hole in the burner, because a lot of the holes were just jam packed with grease and pizza on a rope, juices and stuff like that. So I had to get in there and clean them all out. So now they should be good to go, and we should have a nice uniform fire. And Petey, if you're ever in town, you can come on over. I'll cook you some Chicago style hot dogs. Okay, you know what? Let's see. Petey, say, was that studio able to get the temperature nice and warm? That's actually interesting you asked that. So when I went in, it was pretty chilled. It was pretty not like a Bikram yoga studio. No. It was in the studio I was in today. It was just like a regular meditation room, and I thought we were just going to be doing meditation. It totally threw me off, because I'm used to going to a yoga studio for yoga, and then I'm used to going to my Bikram yoga studio that does 105 degrees Fahrenheit classes, right? But then I walk in here, and it just was advertised as a meditation. So I walk in, I sit down, I was like, oh, we're just going to be doing a meditation. And so I was very surprised when all of a sudden it turned into a yoga class, and we were doing yoga, but we were also doing meditation. It was like a yoga meditation hybrid, which is technically what Bikram yoga is supposed to be. They call Bikram yoga a 90-minute moving meditation. But I've always felt like it's less of a meditation, more of an ass-kicking, grueling workout. Any of you who've done Bikram yoga, Danny John, you tried it. You know what Bikram yoga is like. It's kind of hard to say that's like a meditation, right? You don't really feel really zen and peaceful when you're in it, right? You feel like holy shit, am I gonna die? This is the toughest thing I've ever done in my life, right? But yeah, this was actually cool because it was a slow moving yoga, kind of like a yin-ish yoga, and it was a meditation on top of that. It was pretty cool. Oh yeah, Petey. So there was this whole scandal with Bikram. So Bikram basically did get canceled. What they did is though they love his product. The people still love his product, so they just changed the name to like instead of Bikram yoga to like hot yoga. But I still call it Bikram yoga because there's like because then everyone knows what I'm talking about. Because there's like a million different types of hot yoga out there, you know. But the Bikram yoga series is actually 26 postures that were taken from the Hatha Yoga set. Hatha Yoga is the oldest form of yoga. It has 81 postures. So so Bikram his thing was he's like, hey, I'm going to take 26 postures from the 81 of Hatha, and I'm going to cook it in a room of 105 degrees, and we're gonna sweat, and we're gonna do these postures. And his theory, his idea was that you could get as much from those 26 postures as you could from the entire 81 postures of Hatha Yoga. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. I've never done the entire 81 Hatha Yoga set, but I will say this. Bikram yoga definitely changed my life. It was like a huge difference. And we've actually talked about this before. It's weird. It's like, okay, so the guy did some maybe did some weird stuff or some unethical stuff, right? But like he created something incredible. He created something that has completely revolutionized my life. I was like a piece of garbage, like until I started doing Bikram yoga. And I'm exaggerating a little bit, obviously, for theatrical purposes. But like, I mean, my quality of life was garbage. I didn't feel very healthy, and then I started doing Bikram yoga, and all of a sudden, like, my whole world got better. And so, like, it's weird. If someone creates something amazing, it's like, well, I guess, and they turn out to do some unethical stuff or whatever. It's like, that's kind of a weird situation. I mean, do you keep the product around? I mean, I say, yeah, I say, of course you keep the product around because it's changed, millions of people's lives throughout the world. It's helped. It's been a huge helping force. Whatever. We're not when we do Bikram yoga, we're not like, praising the guy. We're just like, getting the product. We're using the product, right? It would be like if someone, let's say there was like, an asteroid that was going to come and destroy the whole planet, right? And then no one could stop it, right? No one could figure out a way to stop this asteroid. And then there was like one dude who was like, lived a really shitty life and was like a piece of garbage and was like, hey, I figured out a way to stop the asteroid, and like he had some way to do it, right? It's like, are you going to be like, no, dude, we're just all going to die because we don't like your moral standing. You're not going to do that. No, you're going to say, yeah, sure, dude, save the world. And then, he'll save the world. And then you can think about whatever about him you want. But like at the same time, I mean, he did save the world, right? So that's all that. I'm bummed out though because my Bikram yoga studio, my hot yoga studio just actually closed recently. So, but I hadn't been going for the last couple months anyway. But it's still kind of like a bummer, Like I was going to that studio for 11 years. It was right down the street from me. I was going there for 11 years. I love that studio, And now it just shut down. They due to low enrollment, people are freaking out because there's still like COVID concerns and everything. But yeah, it shut down and it was kind of sad. It was a sad day for me. But that's just such as life, right? The transitory nature of this phenomenal world, right? Everything changes. Things are always in flux. Sometimes things come into fruition, and thrive, and then things die. I was actually thinking about my tomato plants. I got tomato plants out in the balcony, and I was looking at them, and I was like, man, these things are dying now. After I got their fruit, now they're dying on me. But it's like that's just how it goes with this. In the spatio-temporal world, right? In the noumenal realm, can't do this distinction between the phenomenal realm and the noumenal realm, right? The phenomenal realm is the world of sensory experience, in spatio-temporal realm, right? Where we can smell things, touch things, taste things, where things have boundaries and have distinctions between things, right? And then there's the noumenal realm, which is things in themselves, right? It's just like the way things are without the sensory world, right? And in the noumenal realm, there are no distinction. There are no these distinctions and boundaries and sensory input. Those concepts don't even apply, right? But in the phenomenal world, you got to deal with it. Hey, Swiss R is here. Good to see you. Wow, it's been a while. Swiss R is one of the he's one of the OGs from the fitness and health community. Super awesome, dude. He knows everyone. He is Twitch. That's what we say about Swiss R. Swiss R is Twitch. Super great dude. Check him out. Drop him a follow. He does travel streams from beautiful scenic landscapes in Switzerland. I mean, it's just amazing the stuff that he shows on his stream. You see, I have the Amitabha Buddha behind me, and I got a couple candles, right? But he's showing these these beautiful landscapes and churches from 1628 and things like that. It's pretty amazing. How you doing, Swiss? What's going on with you, man? You've been following for 1 year, 6 months. That's a long time. 169 in 9 days. Nice. It's a long time, buddy. How you been? And are you still going out dancing? That was the thing, dude. Swiss R also used to never sleep. I don't know what he was doing, but he went a long time without sleeping. He would just be up. He would stream, then he'd be up all night dancing. Then he'd be popping to my stream, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm drunk, but I'm just not gonna sleep ever, and I'm just gonna live my life and see what happens." All right, where are we at here in chat? Petey, you say super cool. I like your philosophy. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, Ashtanga, that's the one form of yoga I have not tried, actually, Ashtanga. Everyone keeps telling me about Ashtanga. I've done yin, I've done, all the different types of vinyasa, the, power vinyasa flows, the vinyasa hybrids. I've done, Hatha via Bikram series. I have not done Ashtanga. That's the one type. I do Kumnaye every morning. I mean, I've not done Ashtanga. People get big into Ashtanga though. One of my old good friends, Brooke, she was a huge proponent of Ashtanga. That was this type she studied. I kind of always just felt look, I know 4 different types of 4 different schools of yoga. Do I need to know 5? I mean, but maybe it would be helpful, right? Maybe it would be something good. It'd be something to check out, right? Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. What else is going on? Hey, Healer Rose is here. Good to see you, friend. How are you doing tonight? How's everything going with you? I hope you're having a good day. I was telling everyone earlier that I got to check out a cool yoga meditation hybrid. I went in there thinking it was just going to be a meditation. It's Inspiritus Alchemy was the name of the studio. And I was in for a surprise because it was a yoga class also. It was a hybrid, a yoga meditation hybrid with a lot of cool elements to it. So it was pretty cool. Healer, you say thank you to whoever anonymously gifted you. Yeah, someone out there likes you. Someone out there definitely likes you, and I saw that they gifted you a subscription. So yeah, you're a positive force in the chat. I've noticed that people who are positive forces in the chat typically end up getting gifted subs. It's just kind of how it goes. But yeah, let's see. You have an Octopath Traveler. What is Octopath Traveler? I don't know anything about Octopath Traveler. Peter, you say Ashtanga is calling me. I want to check it out at some point. I do, but I don't know. I mean, I do Qigong, I do Kumnaye, I do Vinyasa, I do Yin, I do Hatha and Bikram. I mean, I do. I've been even getting into a little bit of Tai Chi. How much more time do I have? I think one day I'm just my 24 hours a day I'm just going to be doing yoga and the internal energy arts and meditation. It's I won't have time for anything else. It's like I was going to go pet the cat, but I can't because I got to do this next posture, right? Oh man. Swissar, you're hosting. Cool. By the way, I don't know if I think I gave you a shout out to your fitness yoga one. I don't think I got a shout out to your other channel. Swiss is intense. One channel is not enough for him. He needs 2. Why can't I? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, there we go. All right, cool. Swissar, go check out Swissar. Drop him a follow. But yeah, he's a good dude. He's also a moderator. It's nice to have a moderator in chat because I never know. You never know when the trolls are gonna come in and do weird things. But yeah, I have Danny John and I got Swissar now. This is great. We got 2 moderators in here. JT's been working during my streams. It's been a big loss, and I was actually talking with Danny John about this the other day. Though everyone here has to know JT Farms, right? She's been my channel moderator since day one. She comes almost every stream. She's been such a positive force. And she just got a job where she works second shift. So she'll pop in on her break, but that's it. It's crazy not having her around. I feel you know how it's like I feel naked without her. It's weird. It's weird. But yeah, it's just the vibe is different. The energy. She's also a channel shaman too. She controls the energy in here. So like, I gotta keep things regulated myself now. Let's see. All right, where are we at here? Healer Rose, you say you wish exactly, yeah, and we still communicate, right? I talked to her. I mean, I texted her earlier today, I think, or was it? Yeah, I think this morning I texted her. We were texting back and forth a little bit, but like it's just not the same, not having her come in, and she watches the VODs, she checks out the VODs and does the meditations, but I'm not having her like in, Oh, by the way, speaking of her, like she literally made this for me. Right, so look at this beautiful beaded necklace. Right, this is I think it's called a mala, and she for like I think something like 40 streams in a row, and during 40 streams in a row, she attached 3 beads per stream. So it was like 120. It was supposed to be like 120 beads, but like it ended up being 108, I guess, or something. So almost 40 streams in a row. She attached 3 beads per stream and made this like amazing spiritual necklace for me, and then sent it to me in the mail. I mean, like who does that? Like what an amazing, like nice, kind thing to do. Like she has the biggest heart in the world. She's so amazing. So like I wear this now when I do the meditations, and it helps me regulate things, and then she also she's amazing. She sent me this fire quartz, this beautiful fire quartz in the mail once. I mean, she's like the best. She's like the best channel mod someone could ever hope for, and like one of the best friends someone could hope for. Right, just a super kind human being. So yeah. Anyways, let's see. Teal Rose, you say, haha, true that with that channel shaman. Yeah, you love when she always welcomes you. That's the other thing. Yeah, whenever someone enters, she's like, hey, how's it going? And she's like personable. She like knows people's stories. She knows people's history. She's observant. She's smart. I mean, she's funny and witty. She's awesome. Yeah, healer prayer beads, right? She sent me this amazing necklace, right? And so I wear it now, and now it helps me, remember her and kind of keep her with me when I'm doing the meditations. And then I'm sure, when she watches the VOD, she's probably like, hey, look at Agni sporting that beautiful necklace that I made him, right? All right, okay. So I've been doing a lot of talking, and I don't want to do a lot of talking. I want to do meditation because that's why we're here. So now we're going to slow things down, and we're going to go to the place of peace and love within our hearts. Find a comfortable seated position. You can sit on the floor in lotus pose. You can sit cross-legged. Or you can sit in a chair. The main thing is to find a position that is comfortable for you. And take a few slow, deep breaths on your own. And I have a Buddhist chant that I play that has a chime that rings every 2 seconds. And you can use it to help regulate your breath count. Take a few more slow, deep breaths on your own while maintaining good posture. Inhale through your nose, gently raising your belly. Exhale through your mouth, gently lowering your belly. Breathe in through your nose, slowly raising your abdomen. Breathe out through your mouth, slowly lowering your abdomen. Focus on your breath. Inhale, raising your belly. Exhale, lowering your belly. Breathe in, raising your abdomen. Breathe out, lowering your abdomen. Keep your awareness on your breath count. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Your breath calms your body, and your body calms your mind. Be mindful of your breath count. On your next breath, visualize yourself sitting on the tallest mountain peak. Watching the clouds float through the sky beneath you. Two clouds float together and merge into one. And one cloud stretches apart, dividing into two. These clouds float through the sky before disappearing over the horizon. These clouds are like your thoughts. Thoughts come into being and exist for a while in conscious awareness before disappearing from your mind. That is the nature of human thought. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that does not serve you well. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all that is of no benefit to you. Focus on your breath. When thoughts arise in your mind, picture them as clouds floating through the sky before disappearing over the horizon, and return your awareness to your breath count. Your essence is love. Your love is manifested as light. Your purpose is to shine your light on others. Awakening the inner light within them. So that they may shine their light on all whom they encounter. Until all of humanity is glowing radiantly as one once again. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that does not serve you well. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all ego which obscures your third eye sight. Focus on your breath. When thoughts arise in your mind, do not judge them. Simply let them go and return to your breath count. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that does not serve you well. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all ego which hinders your evolution. Stay focused on your breath count. On your next breath, travel down beneath the level of conscious awareness. Go to the region of your heart chakra. Feel the love which emanates from this location. And the warmth that surrounds your love. Experience the perfect peace residing here. And the joy which accompanies it. In this place, your divine nature becomes apparent. In this place, you are eternal. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that is of no benefit to you. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all ego which obscures your third eye vision. Focus on your breath counts. When thoughts arise in your mind, picture them as clouds floating through the sky, eventually disappearing from your mind. And return your awareness to your breath. On your next breath, travel down beneath the level of conscious awareness. Go down to your center point. The place residing at the centermost location of your being. The place from which you originate. In this location, you exist in a state of pure monism. No boundaries or separations can exist here. Spatio-temporal constructs are not welcome in this region. For here you are in eternity. Focus deep on this center point. And when you're ready, travel through. I'll see you on the other side. Here, at your center point, you recall your true identity. At your center, you remember how you came to be. Here, at your center point, you recall your divine purpose. To spread love and light to all of those whom you encounter. Awakening each person from their dream of separation. Releasing the ego mind. Reuniting with all of creation. Returning home once again. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all that is of no benefit to you. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all ego which would keep you prisoner here. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all stress and tension from your body. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all stress and tension from your mind. Inhale. Exhale, releasing all existential angst from your being. Breathe in. Breathe out, releasing all fear and worry from your mind. Gently open your eyes, returning to the present moment, bringing with you the peace from this meditation throughout the remainder of your day. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing this sacred space with me. I am honored and humbled to be here with you as your meditation guide. I hope you all feel more grounded and centered after this meditation. I hope you feel more peaceful and loving than you did before. And I hope you're able to take the love and peace from this meditation with you into the external world and live a more fulfilling, joyful existence. Namaste. Wow, that was a lot of excitement going on. All right, let's see. During that meditation, we had, I believe, 2 raids, right? Someone catch me up. Average Joe's OC. Thank you so much for the raid. Much appreciated, friend. That's super kind of you. What do you stream? What kind of content do you stream? If you're still here, you say bend not break raid. Yeah, right. We got to be flexible when we're meditating. We got to be flexible. Yeah, big shout out to Average Joe's OC. Check them out. Drop them a follow. I'm excited. I want to know more about what you do. And then we also had I think a raid from Nanera. Was that what happened? I think we had a raid from Nanera or Noger, or I don't know. I don't know what happened. But big shouts out to Nanera and Noger. Nanera is a super awesome, warm, kind, witty, sarcastic at times human being. She is a strong proponent of, she's a strong member of the fitness and health community here on Twitch. You always see her hanging out with Celtsy, working out. She's done some amazing stuff. Just her journey is incredible. Definitely check her out. Drop her a follow. Everyone loves Nanera. You will not be disappointed. She streams all sorts of content. She's done cooking streams. She does fitness streams. And she's, I think, did you finish up that flexibility certification in there? I think you did. So that's pretty awesome. So yeah, and then Noger streams philosophy here on Twitch. He reads academic philosophical journals. It's pretty amazing, and he's starting to get some pull. Like he's starting to get some, a good amount of people coming in. Wow! Thank you so much, Danny John, for the bits earlier, and thank you so much for the anonymous gift of 1 sub. I appreciate it, all of you. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to catch up right now. There's so much going on, and I couldn't even acknowledge it during the stream. And then let's see. Terra Time is a phenomenal streamer here on Twitch. Terra Time, don't worry. I just had to go through the chain. I was definitely going to get to you. She is the emote queen on Twitch. If you ever see someone with this level of emote game, it will be Terra Time. No one can compete with her emote game. She's also a streamer in the fitness and health community. She's a phenomenal personal trainer. And she's just a wonderful, fun person. You go to her streams and you'll feel good. You'll feel happy. You'll smile. She'll make you laugh. Every time I go in, she has the sound redemption. So every time I go in, I always redeem cat right away, and then she knows I'm there. And she always looks at the camera and says, she looks at the camera. She's like, looks this way, and says, "Where's the cat?" And then looks this way, "Where's the cat?" And it brings such joy to me. And she gives me big hugs. And I'm going to give you a hug too, Terra Time. Come here. She's amazing. Terra Time is incredible. So definitely check her out. Drop her a follow. Nanera, rating with a party of 33. That's no joke. Nanera. Wow. Thank you so much. And then we had some follows. We had Metal Megs. Thank you so much for the follow. Much appreciated. I'm also into metal, but I'm a meditation metal guy. So it's kind of weird, I go off into the woods and listen to Ulver and I meditate. Danny John, thank you again so much for the 100 bits. Much appreciated. Super kind to you, Danny John. So thank you for the follow, and then thank you for following Average Joe's OC. Thank you for following the God of Poor. I think maybe that's everyone. I don't even know. But anyways. Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Agni James. I primarily stream guided meditations here on Twitch. I've been doing this about 16, 17 months or so. And I also have a master's in philosophy, so I do philosophy streams where we discuss philosophy of mind, philosophy of science, and metaphysics. And I also am a chess instructor in real life, so We do chess streams where I do chess lessons, I play games, I do Puzzle Rush, all sorts of stuff. So if you're interested in any of that content, yeah, drop me a follow and check out some of our streams. How's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone doing? Yeah, we got a hype train is close. It's cool. Hype train is close. It says pretty cool. Yeah, we're right there. Nice, awesome. Thank you, Danny John, for contributing to that. Much appreciated. Nanera, you said I'll be right back. Got to clean up real quick. Okay, cool. Well, Nanera, if you're back, what were you doing? What kind of were you doing a workout stream tonight? A lot going on today. Yeah, I think okay. I think I'm slowly catching up to everything that's been going on. All right. Oh, no, you say you didn't raid, you just chill. Okay, well, cool. Well, it's good to have you in. Yeah, it's weird when I'm doing the meditations and I get all that action, you know. It's hard to keep track of what's going on, and I got to try to keep a straight face and be like calm, because that's what it's all about, you know, being like in that Zen mindset, right? You got to be in that Zen state and not allow anything to distract you, and just be all in on peace, right? So it's super important. But yeah, thank you. So whoever did that anonymous gift sub to One Sluggy. All right, cool. A lot of excitement. All right, okay, and we're caught up. We're caught up now. We did it. We made it. We finally did it. Man, I feel like it took me as long to catch up to all that excitement as the meditation went. Let's see, that was a 33-minute meditation. 33 minutes. Cool. That's about. It's funny. Like, I haven't been setting timers or anything for my meditations, but they all seem to have been about 34 minutes lately, which is kind of neat. I think that's like a really good amount of time to do a meditation for. Terror time. So how have you been lately? What's new with you? What's going on in your world? Have you been hanging out at the farm? Have you been chilling at your place? Have you been streaming a lot? Healer Rose, you say following that intuition. Yeah, right. I am, and they all tend to be about 34 minutes, which is a great amount of time. If you can meditate for a little bit over 30 minutes, I mean, you're gonna get a hell of a mental workout, right? That requires a lot of focus and concentration to do. I recommend, if someone's like just starting out, just try a few minutes here and there. But if you can go in and do like 30 minutes, that's great. Yeah, super great. Terror time, you say you were sick, but now you're. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. Yeah. Healer Rose, you said the same thing. You just said the same thing that I said. Glad you're feeling better. Healer Rose, we are on the same page right now. Are we the same person right now? Like, that was really bizarre. You literally just said the exact same thing that I said. Maybe when we meditate, we're tapping into Jung's collective unconscious, and we're just kind of in that same mental space. I don't know. Maybe we're the same person. What if Healer Rose is actually me, and like this whole time no one ever knew about it? Like Healer Rose is actually Agni James. You said, oh, definitely, you bet. Yeah, maybe we might be tapping in that same energy, right? Let's see. Terror time, you say you were feeling like a pathetic maggot. Feeling like a pathetic maggot. That's not any way Terror time should feel. Terror time, you're like one of the most positive, uplifting, energetic people I know. I would never consider you or think of you as a pathetic maggot in any way, shape, or form. I know you're just joking, but like that's wild. And Swiss art, exactly, yeah, exactly. If we are all one, right? If we're all just one, so like, yeah, we're gonna exist in that same space, right? And that's one of the main things that I try to articulate in my meditations is my premise. One of my foundational beliefs about the fundamental nature of identity is that I believe that we are one consciousness, that all of humanity is simply we're metaphysically speaking, we are one mind, and we are viewing ourselves within the spatio-temporal realm as separate bodies, as separate distinct entities in this world, right? In this phenomenal realm, as Kant would refer to it, right? This is the world of sensory experience. But in reality, we've never left. We're still this in this state of perfect oneness. We're this one consciousness. We're going through the experience of what it would be like to be separate. What it would be like to have boundaries and distinctions between things, right? So that's kind of like one of the foundational premises of my metaphysics personally. And you don't have to believe that; it's just what I believe, right? But anyway, so I articulate that during my meditations, and so that's just kind of like a little clarification about that. Let's see. Terror time. You say you were in bed with a high fever, insane, a lot of days. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better now. That's crazy. That's crazy that to see, and you're so healthy. It's always weird when you see someone like so full of life, so full of energy, like get sick. Like it's weird. It's weird. Like, I very rarely get sick, so when I get sick, it's always kind of weird. I'm always thrown off, and the people around me are thrown off. They're like, Agni, you're sick. Like, what's going on here, right? Yeah. So Terror Time's the same way. She's like super high energy, super entertaining, super exciting. So when she's sick, that blows my mind. I can't picture what it would even be like to see you sick. It's like that concept can't even exist in my mind. It just doesn't seem right. It just seems incompatible with the Terror Time that I know. And Terror Time's from Argentina, by the way. Those of you who don't know, she's exotic. I always call her exotic. Maybe she thinks I'm exotic because I'm from Chicago. I'm from Chicago. That's how we talk in Chicago. No, she's from actually a really cool place. So, yeah, that's cool. Noger, yeah, send soup and warm blankets. Absolutely, we gotta get Terror Time. I don't know if you're 100% back. You're recovering your energy now. Okay, take care. All right, well, good. I'm glad you're recovering your energy now, because we got to see you in full form. We got to see you, full of life and exuberance and getting other people to work out and be healthy, right? Because we need healthy bodies. There's a school of thought that says, well, the body doesn't really matter. We just need to be in a good mental space. But it's really hard to be in a good mental space if your body is sick, right? Or if you're really low energy, or if you have some cancer, or like some kind of major physical ailment like a broken ankle, right? So one of my really good close friends, my best friend right now, has a foot issue that she's going through, and it's been a major problem for her. She's been dealing with it. She's been struggling with it because she can't go out on her walks and work out like she wants to, and she can't do the things that she normally does. And so it's hard. It's hard when you're recovering from injury or illness to be in a state of oneness. Now, is it possible? Yeah, you can do it. It's just a lot tougher, right? So that's why we always like to start with focusing on our breath, right, and slowing down, and then because then the breath slows down the body, and then once the body is not screaming at you, then you can quiet the mind. That's like the more traditional route to getting a peaceful mind and living in a peaceful mental space. But you know what, Terror Time, you may be feeling sick, but your emote game has not gone away. I'll tell you that much. Your emote game is still going strong, and you got the Chicago style heart. Yeah, I love it. Danny John was in here earlier, and she was saying I need a Chicago style emote. What do you think, Terror Time? Would that be a good one for me? Should I get a Chicago style emote and get that going on in my emote collection? I think that would be pretty cool. I think that would be pretty neat to have a Chicago someone. I'm talking to my buddy who does all the emotes, and he's made my entire collection. I just don't want to push him. I don't want to pressure him because he's been so kind and generous, and But I'm gonna let him know next time he comes into town that if he ever feels inspired to do a Chicago style emote. Let's see, Hillary Rose, you say chock full of info, or Agni James. Yeah, I got some info here and there. Every now and then I have something to say, right? Take it for what it's worth, right? It's sometimes it's good stuff. Sometimes I make people want to attack me, right? But that's just how it goes. I speak my mind. The main thing. Okay, here's what I can say. Right. So sometimes I say stuff that makes you love me. Sometimes I say stuff that makes you hate me. Sometimes I say stuff that makes you indifferent to me. Right. But what I do say is what I believe, and I try to live my authentic, honest, to be my authentic, honest self when I'm on stream, and not just on stream, like in life in general. That's super important to me. I used to be someone who was very very amenable, and I would walk around and I would just be, I would agree with people and just, yeah, even if I didn't necessarily, think that was the case, right? I would just try to be like really like over the top friendly and kind and just friendly, and like, and I not non-confrontational, right? I wasn't living my authentic self. I wasn't being my authentic self. I wasn't being true to who I was, So then a few years back I decided, I was like, you know what, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna speak my mind. I'm gonna say it like it is, and I found that since then, sure, some people don't like the stuff I have to say, if I call people out on stuff, but at least I'm being genuine. At least I'm being truthful, and I can sleep better at night because of that. Because I know that everything I say is what I truly believe, as opposed to just what I'm expected to say by some societal more or custom. Hey, Valpo's here. Good to see you, friend. How you doing? Valpo, you probably know all about authenticity, right? Valpo is a philosopher, and I believe you're a philosophy professor, right? Valpo's an awesome dude. He knows he's a Kierkegaard guy. He's a Kierkegaard guy. So yeah, that's cool. You probably you're into all the continental stuff, right? So you know all about that stuff, authenticity and genuineness and that stuff. You could teach me a lesson on that stuff. I'm from the analytic school where we don't even say the names of continental philosophers. But I've had to do all the research on my own. I've all the continental philosophy I've done is just been on my own, and like had to learn on my own, because we couldn't even discuss that when I was in grad school. Valpo, you say, yeah, you teach. And the existentialists care about authenticity. Yeah, they do, right? It's so important. It's super important. And I don't know. I mean, I sometimes wonder, like what society would be like if everyone always just really did speak the truth, as opposed to putting on a facade, right? I don't know. Who knows? I actually saw a cool episode. I was watching some show called Sandman, or The Sandman. It was like episode 5, and it didn't seem right. Like they had all these people like speaking the truth, and shit got pretty crazy. But yeah, I think that was more for dramatic purposes. I don't envision that kind of stuff actually happening. All right, excellent. Well, this is great. Swissar, you say, I'm glad you found yourself. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, how do you want to live your life? Do you want to live your life just like, appeasing everyone and just saying the right things because you don't want to like ruffle any feathers, you don't want to upset the apple cart, or do you want to actually express how you feel? Do you want to communicate like what your deep emotions, your innermost feelings and your ideas, right? Some people don't like what you have to say, but here's what I found: people might not like what you have to say, but at least they respect you for saying what you genuinely believe, as opposed to someone who's just like, a yes man, right? I've had plenty of yes men in my world, that have just, would just agree with everything I say. And it's like, that's not really how philosophy is done. If you're trying to do philosophy with someone and they just agree with everything you say, I mean, how are you going to push an idea forward, right? Philosophy is an exchange of ideas back and forth, right? Someone makes a claim, and then someone says X, and then someone, the person either says, actually, yeah, I do believe in X, or but there's this problem with X, or they say, well, hold on, I'm going to give an objection to your claim, right? And then you have to come up with a response to that, right? And I'm a chess player. I play competitively, and I teach chess for a living. So chess is the same way. Whenever when someone makes a move in chess, like when white starts the game, white makes a move, they are presenting an idea to black, right? They're presenting an idea, right? So it's like, you play e4, pawn d4, right? It's like, okay, I just pushed my king pawn 2 squares, right? That's an idea. Now black has to look at that idea and recognize. First, they have to recognize what that idea is. And then they have to respond to that idea and present their own idea in response. And then white has to recognize that idea and what they're doing, and then give a response to that idea. And it's a back and forth. And by doing so, you create this back and forth where you can develop some really cool ideas and concepts. And it's not just in chess, but in philosophy and in any kind of debate or meaningful exchange. It just seems like those are the best kind of ways to communicate, right? Where you're pushing ideas forward, right? Karl Popper used to do something very interesting when he was. Those of you who don't know Karl Popper, he was a really profound philosopher, especially philosophy of science. We're talking early 1900s. A lot of his stuff was written. Anyways, Popper, when someone would present an argument to Popper, right? Someone would make a claim to Popper. What Popper would do is he would say, wait a minute, hold on, we got to actually. You have three parts to your argument. You have part X, part Y, and part Z. Let's like make part X stronger. And he would bolster part X, right? And he would just make it as strong as it possibly could be, right? And then he'd be like, okay, your part Y is a little bit problematic. We need to cut out these sections and let's make it as possibly strong as we can. And then he'd make part Y like really strong, and it would be like a really come up with some really cogent arguments for it, right? And then like part Z, he'd be like, okay, we're gonna have to scratch this, but we can rework it. Let's do it like this. So he would do that for part X, Y, and Z of their whatever claims in their argument, right? And then he would make their argument. He would push it to the max. He'd make it as strong as he possibly could, and then from that pinnacle of strength, he would tear it down. He would systematically dismantle his opponent's argument. It was like the most amazing thing. If you've ever heard of a debate from Popper, it was always something special because most people when they argue philosophy, are just like saying, oh, look here you are a little vague about this one notion, so like I'm gonna rag on you for that. I'm gonna try to tear you down because you were a little bit vague and I don't know what sense of the word being you're using, right? But Popper actually strengthened their arguments as much as humanly possible, and then tore them down. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty special. Very few people do that these days. Let's see, where are we at? Okay, I missed a bunch in chat. Healer, you say Divergent book had a group that's all about candor. Yeah, I mean, being honest is super important. I think it's one of the most crucial things to do, just to speak your mind, even if you ruffle some feathers along the way. I mean, when I started doing this, I lost some friends. Because they were used to me being like, yeah, I agree, yeah. And then all of a sudden I'm like, actually, that's a bad point. That's not a good argument, Why? Or I challenge them. I'd say, you're paranoid about this, this notion. Like, why are you so paranoid about this? Like, what, why do you think this? Why is it the case? And what evidence do you have to support these claims, right? And some people didn't like that. But then there were other people that did like that, and then I developed some new friendships. So it was kind of neat, right? Let's see. Hey, Angel TX, thank you so much for the subscription. Much appreciated. Namaste. Angel TX is a big friend of the chat. You've been coming around a while now. I really appreciate you. So it's great to have you in here. Thanks again. Super, super kind of you for that subscription. All right, let's see. Valpo, you say you were lucky you got a Continental MA and a mostly analytic PhD. So you're sort of bilingual. So that is badass. That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, you got exposure to both worlds. Okay, let me give a quick rundown for those of you who don't know the difference between continental and analytic. First of all, geographically speaking, continental philosophy is typically done on the continent of Europe, right? That's like, that's where continental philosophy has its roots. That's where it's primarily done. Analytic philosophy is primarily done in England and in America, right? That's like the geographic distinction. And then analytic philosophy is very concerned with clarifying terms and keeping language unambiguous and not vague. We don't want any vagueness. We want things very technical and dry a lot of times. We want things very precise because we're concerned that we're concerned that there's a lot of philosophers that in the past that have maybe gotten a little too much credit and have actually been obfuscating, right? They've been kind of just being deliberately obscure to conceal the fact that they don't really have any content, any interesting content or any novel content embedded in their argument, right? And so they're just making things very overly technical, and there's not really anything in there, right? They're just kind of muddying the waters, right? And then analytic philosophers like things to be clean, we like there to be like one meaning of a thing, right? And continental philosophers are more they're more like relaxed and like cool and like smooth with things, right? Continental philosophers are more like, hey, you know what? It's not just about like X's and Y's. There's what about the whole wealth of human nature, right? Like, how about the contradictory notions that exist within the human condition? We got to explore these. Like, what about things like suicide? What about things like authenticity, right? What about things like genuineness, right? What we can allow for contradiction. We can allow for this stuff because human beings are contradictory creatures, right? I mean, this is just like very basics, stuff to say about the two schools, but yeah, it's just a kind of a if you're someone who's very math oriented and very logic oriented, and very technical, you tend to lean more towards analytic philosophy. If you're someone who's more free flowing and like smooth and like whatnot, you tend to go with continental. At least that's kind of like a very loose way of summing that up. Anyways, let's see. Valpo, you say you Nogared a paper with a student in office hours today. It worked well. Oh yeah, because the way Nogar does it, yeah. Cool. Let's see, where else are we at now? Valpo, you say really clean paper. Student is in your logic class, so it was a timely exercise. And that's cool that you teach logic. That's a great thing to teach. I love it. My first order predicate calculus class was like one of my favorite classes I've ever taken. It was such a like a how can I put it? First of all, it was really challenging for me, right? I had never taken anything like that before. And then and B, it just structured my mind. Like I could feel the neural pathways in my mind just kind of like having to like change shape and like new pathways having to form just so I could do these like crazy proofs, right? And I had like weird. I remember like pages and pages of truth trees and like weird like notions running through my mind. We were using an old school textbook too. It was like an old Mates. Mates. He wrote this textbook in like the 60s, I think. And back then they didn't even have the same definitions of soundness and validity. Like the two terms, soundness and validity, were used interchangeably. It was kind of crazy. I was like, whoa, like what the fuck is going on here? And because I read the book over the summer, and then I get to class, and like the first thing my teacher says is like, yeah, we have different ways of referring to things. Or Mates uses soundness and validity weird, right? Those two terms. Nowadays, if you write a logic book, there's very distinct. You have to be very precise with the way you explain soundness and as opposed to validity, right? Let's see, where are we at now in chat? Angel, you say good to be here. You always enjoy your stream. I always learn something new. Well, it's always good to have you in here. It's always great to have you in here, and I'm glad that you're gaining something from this. I'm here to teach. I'm here to share what I love, basically. Be a meditation guide, a chess instructor. Share the philosophy that I know, and yeah, it's always pretty cool. Let's see, Nogar, you say, oh my God, that textbook must have been ancient. Oh, let me pull it out. I'll pull it out right now. This is kind of cool. Check it out. Mates, Elementary Logic. Well, let me see the year. Look how worn this is, right? This is the book that we used in my class. It was written 1972. 1972, Benson Mates. And let me show you the definition to soundness and validity that like basically made me wig out. I was like freaking out because I was like, wait a minute, this isn't what soundness and validity are. Hold on, let me see if I can find it in here. Come on, where is it? Let's see. No, I'm not seeing it. We'll have to, hold on. Right here it says, an argument is sound if and only if it is not possible for its premises to be true and its conclusion false. And that's validity, right? Everything's weird. And then I think he goes back on it and says a necessary truth if and only if there are no conceivable circumstances of which that would be false. And a second. Yeah, this is. There were a few things. There were a few things that were fucked up basically in this book. But they had to do with soundness and validity. And but yeah, this was. I mean, if you like, yeah, you know, this was a good book. Here, everyone out there, you should know exactly what this means. Everyone out there should be able to do this like from just looking at this page. All right, that's my logic lesson. All right. But yeah. So, anyways, Mates. Yeah, they weren't using the right thing. But this is the second edition. I wonder when the first edition was written. Let's see. 1965, the first edition was written. Yeah, it's an old book. My teacher loved it though. My teacher loved that book, right? So that's why we went with it. And you know what? It's a really good book. The only issue I have with it is they didn't have solutions. They didn't have like a solution guide to a lot of the problems. So it's like you're doing the problems and you're like wait a minute, like hold on, like, you know, did I even get that right? And you didn't know. You know, nowadays, like, you know, every textbook has like, you know, like the correct answers and like a solution guide, right, and stuff like that. You know, and like, you know, like it breaks down the stuff, right? Because if you don't know if you're doing it right, I mean, it's kind of weird, right? Let's see. Noger, you said, yeah, it sounds like it doesn't quite have the moral concepts distinguished yet either. It doesn't. There were a few weird things, but it's really tight. That's why my professor liked it. And when I say tight, it's like a really clean look. It's like not even that thick, right? It's a small book, but it's just like, it's super condensed and there's no bullshit. It's just like straight to the point, you know, and it's like a really clean, tight book, you know. And at the time it was probably just a, you know, the perfect book. And then my professor was just like, hey, we're going to continue using this, like, you know, even though it's 50 years old. Let's see. If it nails the first order logic, that's all that matters. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it nails what needs to be nailed. And my professor actually, he pointed out everywhere where there was a mistake, like everywhere where it didn't, where it says something that was a little bit off. He would say, okay, and now we actually do it this way, right? You know, and he would give the correct way of doing it. Yeah, but there were a couple really weird things though in that book though. I remember reading it after, because I had taken a logic class before. You know, but it was not like you know, it was just like a basic logic class. So I knew the basics of logic, I was like, whoa, like how could this book have some weird things in there, you know? Because of course a logic book needs to be like accurate. That's like the most important thing for it, right? Okay, all right. Well, let's see. Where are we at now? I think we've caught up, and let's just do a quick reading from the Tao Te Ching. And then maybe we'll call it a night. I feel like this has run its course. So we have been doing. So there's 81 passages in the Tao Te Ching. This is one of the greatest books ever written, Lao Tzu's masterpiece. Assuming it actually was written by Lao Tzu. A lot of people have been saying it was actually most likely written by a bunch of Chinese authors over a long period of time. But I like the old story that it was Lao Tzu who wrote it, and that he wandered off into the desert, So I'm gonna go with that. It's kind of weird if there's like a story you like about a book and you've heard it, about an author or a hero, and you've like heard that story your whole life. I mean, sometimes you just want to keep that story, right? You don't want to change it. You want to keep that intrigue, right? Hey, Chad guy's here. Good to see you, man. Welcome in. You popped in after all this time. We've had a lot of excitement, man. We had a lot of excitement. Chad guy, you just realized something? I'm sure you did. Now that you're a VIP, dude. Now that you're a VIP, all of a sudden you're realizing stuff. Let's see. Swiss R, you say a raid. Little Human Jade, she's doing ASMR. Yeah, but in a minute. I want to do this first. I got to see who else is on there too. I always like to repay people who raid me and are do that. So I think we're on verse 25. Okay, cool. All right, verse 25 of the Tao Te Ching. The way is the reservoir towards which the myriad creatures gravitate. It is the treasure of the good man, and that by which the bad is protected. Beautiful words can be used for bartering. Honored behavior can put a man above others. Even if a man is not good, why should he be abandoned? Thus, when the emperor is set up and the 3 ministers are appointed, rather than jade discs followed by a team of 4 horses, better offer this without stirring from one's seat. Why was this valued in antiquity? Was it not said that by means of it one got what one sought and escaped the consequences when one transgressed? Hence, it is the most valued in the empire. All right, so this is definitely not an analytic philosophy quote right there, an analytic philosophy verse. This is going to be tough. We're going to have to give this another shot. We got to unpack this a little bit. Let's see what Lao Tzu is saying here. The way is the reservoir towards which the myriad creatures gravitate. Okay, well that part is pretty straightforward, right? It is the treasure of the good man. And when he says the way, he's talking about the Tao. So it is the treasure of the good man, and that by which the bad is protected. Beautiful words can be used for bartering. Honored behavior can put a man above others. Okay, well, so that part seems pretty reasonable. It is the treasure of the good man, and that by which the bad is protected, right? So if you're following the way, if you're doing the Tao, then you're going to be protected. He mentions this earlier in a bunch of verses where he says an arrow. There's no place for the arrow to lodge itself because you're immune. There's no place where you're vulnerable, I guess you could say. Beautiful words can be used for bartering. Honored behavior can put a man above others. But then we go into, even if a man is not good, why should he be abandoned? And I think this is kind of a cool thing. This is something that I believe, right? You should never turn your back on a brother. Never turn your back on a fellow human being. Even if they're like someone who's toxic or whatnot, still try to at least honor the fact that they might be sick or they might be in a lot of pain or maybe they're miserable, and that's why they're acting out. Like right now, like my mother right now is in a lot of pain, right? She's going to need hip surgery and going to have to get a hip replacement. So basically she's been acting like, not very kind to me lately, right? But I'm not going to be like, okay, I'm never talking to you again, Mom, we're done. I'm I'm never gonna like be nice to you again. I'm not gonna turn my back on her just because she's like in a lot of pain, right? So it's like it's important to understand that with people. Sometimes if someone's acting like an asshole, it's usually because they're not very happy themselves, right? So it's like maybe if they were able to be happy and feel in less pain and not be sick, they'd be acting nicer, right? Swiss, you say, hope she gets well. So, well, thank you, man. Yeah, she's going to get either one or both hips replaced. That's crazy. They do these hip replacement surgeries now. But anyways, let's get back to this. All right. So, even if a man is not good, why should he be abandoned? Now, here's the part where it gets all fucking weird. Thus, when the emperor is set up and the 3 ministers are appointed, rather than jade discs followed by a team of 4 horses, better offer this without stirring from one's seat. Jade discs followed by a team of 4 horses. Maybe that was like some kind of attacking thing they used to do back in the day. They would have I don't know, jade discs like thrown at people from 4 horses. I don't know what the hell the J discs does anyone in chat know what J discs and 4 horses means? I've never heard that term before. But then he says, why was this valued in antiquity? So I guess this was something that was valued back in the day. Oh, I think he's just saying rather than have J discs, which would be like a luxury, right? Something of value, right? And then a team of 4 horses, right? Maybe something like that. Why was this valued in antiquity? Was it not said that by means of it one got what one sought and escaped the consequences when one transgressed? Was it not said that by means of it one got what one sought and escaped the consequences when one transgressed? Hence, it is the most valued in the empire. Yeah. So verse 25 this is a challenge. By the way, those of you who just entered, we're reading Lao Tzu's Tao Te Ching, and verse 25 is pretty tough. It's pretty tough to work through. We have the basics of it here. I got to figure out what those jade discs are. I'll figure that out later, and then the deal with the 4 horses. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, hence it is the most valued in the empire. Cool. All right. That's verse 25. Most of the verses are not as obscure as that, but he's got poetic license, right? Okay, Chaga, you're saying been super busy designing a new skateboard park for city. Won the bid. Now you have to put it all together, dude. That's awesome. I didn't know you do that kind of stuff. You design skateboard parks, dude. Congratulations, man. That's so badass, dude. That's awesome. It's like that's what you do for a living. You design skateboard parks, or is that just like one type of thing you design? It's pretty awesome, huh? And then you say, I told you you own a construction company. No, you know what? I was actually thinking about that the other day. I had no idea what you do for a living. Like I have all I know is that you're like from California, and you have like a lake house that was like 40 miles from burning down, right? When that wildfire was coming through, and the stuff that you post in Discord, obviously. But I didn't know that you own a construction company. That's awesome, man. Cool, dude. Congrats, dude. That's got to be pretty exciting, man. Huh. All right. And then let's see. Swiss R, you say Lao Tzu quotes about the essence of human existence. Fascinating and inspiring. It's a YouTube video. It's a bunch of Lao Tzu quotes. Cool. Yeah. We'll have to. Maybe we should check it out. Maybe we should. Let's do it. I have to do it a different way though, because everything is always weird when I do it this way. So give me a second here. Okay, got that. Bam. Then now I got to close that. Now we got to come over here. Now I got to open it up this way. Okay, got it here. All right. And then I got to come back to OBS, and we need to go to display. And now I got to mess around with window capture because Oh, there we go. All right, that wasn't too bad. Turn up desktop audio. And then hopefully this will be loud enough for everyone. If not, just let me know and I'll turn it up. Okay, so you should all be able to see this.
Your existence opens.
It still sounds really quiet to me.
The best fighter is never angry. Knowledge is a treasure, but practice is the key to it.
Can you guys all hear that?
To a mind that is still, the whole universe surrenders. Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know.
We'll do another like 30 seconds. I don't want to sit for 15 minutes of this, but it's kind of cool. I'll probably go through this later on.
To understand the limitation of things, desire them. Be still.
I like these
Stillness
mountains
reveals the secrets of eternity.
These trees and mountains.
Respond intelligently even to unintelligent treatment.
All right, we'll do one more.
Because of a great love, one is courageous.
Yeah. And I doubt this is what Lao Tzu actually looked like, but this guy does look pretty cool. Like he's got a beard kind of like mine. I think he's got a better beard than me, so I don't want to look at him anymore. He's got the better beard going. Let's see. Valpo, you say looks like Mate's book is freely and legally available online. Oh, cool. Yeah. The Mate's book is great. I mean, we had I got the copy. I had two copies actually. When I first bought it, I bought the first edition, and my professor was like, "Yeah, that's not the right one." And then I got the second edition, but yeah, it was pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting that the distinction between soundness and validity. I mean, something that you probably teach that. Valpo, are you teaching like an intro to logic class? But whatever, like you probably teach that like on day one, right? The distinction between soundness and validity, right? As far as an argument goes, right? And I mean that's like super crucial, right? That's like something they hammer into you, on day one, and for mates to have like a weird notion of it was kind of interesting, right? It's kind of I don't know. I guess in the '60s they just did it a little differently, maybe. Yeah, so check it out. It's kind of interesting. Valpo, you say, yeah, intro logic. It's early on, yeah. You probably do what? Do like all the what am I thinking of? Like you probably start with like the basics and like all the informal fallacies and all that kind of stuff, and then you get into like all that, and then maybe you go into soundness and validity. I think that's how my logic class did. First we're like, hey, there's all these informal fallacies here, check out these fallacies, and they're like, and we had to go out and like find them in like in politician speeches and stuff like that. And that was kind of neat, It's like, oh, hey, we're looking at all these guys aren't using correct logic, and they're like the leaders of our country. Chad guy, no, Lao Tzu is not European, man. Oh, hold on, we just lost focus here. Let's see if we can get it back. All right, this is always a little game I have to play here. We do this, and then we get it back eventually. But yeah, Lao Tzu we're talking like 2,000 years ago, old Chinese dude, right? Or maybe Mongolia. I don't know. Who knows where he was from? But there we go. Okay, we're back. We got it. I'm back in focus. It's Valpo. You say you use the Carnap.io platform, so the order is a little unusual. Okay, cool. I'm unfamiliar with that platform, but yeah, that's. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, whatever. As long as you get the content in there, it doesn't matter if the order's off a little bit. Chad guy, you say you build everything outside. Barbecues, outdoor kitchens, koi ponds, really? Driveways, patios, park. Dude, Chad guy, you got to come to Chicago, man. Like, you gotta teach me some stuff about building, man. I'm not a builder, dude. The closest I ever got to building, I did a lot of volunteer work for a local college's theater department, and I just I built like sets for their plays and stuff like that. But I am not a builder. I don't know about how to do all that kind of stuff. Like when I'm doing like renovations in my condo and I'm doing stuff around my condo, I get it done, but it's not pretty, man. You probably know all the tricks. Like you probably know like all the weird little tricks, of like getting all that stuff done. I have a lot of respect for people who know all that stuff, right? Chad Guy, you say your favorite Asian history story was when the American went to Japan in 1854 and demanded Japan open its borders. Like, what? Someone really did that? Or, I think it's still blurry a little bit. This is bothering my OCD is kicking in. All right, there we go. Okay, we're good now. We're good. Was that actually something that happened, or are you just making that up? See, I never know with you, man, because you're part troll. You're part troll, but you're like I don't know what, like 29% troll, 29.67 last time I checked. So like, I never know, man. Like, for all I know, you don't even have a construction company. Noger, you say, now that it happened. So like, what? So how did that end up? Like what happened when the dude went over there? So when the dude went over there and like demanded that Japan opens up its borders, like, did they just like kill the dude? Did they just like pull out like a samurai sword and be like, hey, we demand that you like get sliced into like 50 pieces, or what happened? I need to know. I need to know the ending to the story now. You can't just leave me hanging. Matthew Calbraith Perry was an American badass. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird to just demand that someone opens up their borders. They opened up for this dude. Like, I mean, like, what did he do? Like, was he convincing? Did he sweet talk him? Was he like, hey, I'll tell you what, I got some good stuff to trade you. If you open up your borders, or was he like, was he like just be like, open up your fucking borders, or else like, you're gonna have to deal with me. I don't know the story. It sounds kind of cool though. Sounds pretty neat. All right. Well, anyways, Noger, you say my guess he was super sexy. You know who we need to ask. We know who we need to ask. Yeah. We know a certain historian. There's a certain historian that we're gonna have to ask. He tends to hang out in Aristotle's stream. We're gonna have to give him an ask about this, because I don't know anything about this. Or I could Google it. But here's the thing: it's not as fun to Google stuff. Like, it's better to ask someone who actually has that wealth of information and hear it from them than just to like Google it. I mean, I don't want to check. I don't want to look them up. I don't want to do that. I want to hear it from a historian. Like, this is like how it used to be back in the day. Back in the day, you couldn't just Google everything. It's fun. It's fun. To just we're gonna ask Shane McInnes, and we're gonna be like, hey Shane, tell us about X. Tell us about this dude who demanded Japan open up its borders. And it'll be like he'll make it entertaining. It'll be exciting. He'll have a good story. He won't just be like, it won't be like some dry like Wikipedia explanation, right? Yeah, we'll check him out later. By the way, it's Chad Guy. I don't know if you've ever gone to Shane's stream, but you'd probably like it, man. He does all sorts of cool history stuff. You should check him out and drop him a follow. You want to see my reaction? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what my reaction would be. Yeah, Shane streams. He's a streamer on Twitch, dude. He's a streamer. He streams like what? Noger, what does he stream, like twice a week? Something like that, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and he's like legit like good streamer. I mean, he has like, and he has a lot of people watching. He'll have like like 30 people in there just like watching his stream, and he'll be talking some awesome history stuff, telling us about all this shit we never knew, and he gives all these cool little details, these like smooth like details that you won't find typically like on if you just do like a Google search. Yeah, let me shout him out. Shout out. Yeah, there it is. Hey, Noger's got it. All right, cool. Thanks, Noger. That's right. Yes. I made you a mod. I forgot how. Okay, thank you for the shout out. Yeah, so go drop him a follow. You will love it. Shane's awesome. He always hangs out in Aristotle's stream. He hangs out in Noger streams too sometimes. He's a smart dude, and he's a historian. Like I haven't known a ton of historians in my life. I've been mostly around like science crew and like philosophy crew, and then like chess players and metalheads, and then like a bunch of other like weirdos in my life. But I haven't hung out with a lot of historians. Hey, Nanera's back. Hello. Thank you again, Nanera, for that huge raid earlier. That was so awesome of you. That was I'm super appreciative of you. It was great. It was a great meditation. It was tough. It was tough keeping it together. I was like, wow, because it was you and that other guy, something OC, whoever, you guys both rated me at almost the same moment, and I was like, whoa! I went from like like 7 people to like 40 people in my chat or 50 people in my chat. All of a sudden, it was average Joe's. That's it. Yeah, it was crazy. I was like, okay, like, but I can't. It's when I meditate, I'm not going to break form when I'm meditating and just be like, oh, and by the way, like, thank you so much, because like, I got people in here that are getting into that Zen mind state. So it's my policy just to thank everyone after. But yeah, what do you? Oh, you brought him over as well. You were doing your Bend Not Break show. Nice. I wanted to ask you, did you finish your certification for it was what, stretching and flexibility, right? Some kind of flexibility certification. I know you were going with it. I think you were getting close to finishing that up, right? That's like super important. By the way, those of you who don't do much stretching, you really should stretch. I mean, if you want like because we're typically used to sitting staring at screens for 8 hours a day. That's not healthy for our bodies. You got to get up, you got to move around, you got to stretch. If you want evidence of this, look at dogs and cats. Dogs stretch. Cats stretch. Why do you think dogs and cats stretch? Because they're animals, and animals' bodies are supposed to stretch, right? We're animals, our bodies are supposed to stretch. So, it's important that we do basic stretching. Kids stretch, right? Kids are like all over the floor, and they're like stretching all around and moving in all sorts of ways, but adults like to just like sit and stare at like a screen and not stretch for some reason. And then our bodies get all messed up. We get injured and have all sorts of issues. Cool. So Bend Not Break show. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. And there you said not yet. You'll be picking it back up next month. Okay, cool. Well, let me know how that goes. That's super cool. That you're getting that certification. I think that's awesome. You say your coworker is finally back from leave, so you finally have time to work on it. Oh, that's what happened. If your coworker is on leave, then you got to cover for them. You're not going to have as much time, right? So I get that. Chad guy, you say the Matthew Perry demanding Japan to open its borders is a fun story. Demanding Japan, also the Final Samurai story is a fun read too. There's like so much content I got to catch up on. I have to I have like a list of like 1,000 albums to listen to, books to read, and movies to watch. Like it's just crazy nowadays. Like you can't check it out. There's not enough hours in a day. Like if I just like sat for 24 hours a day and like just did nothing but like watch movies and shows and like read books and I don't know, listen to music, like I would still I would never get anywhere. I would never make any progress because there's too much content out there, right? You can't do it. It's just too much. Let's see. Daenerys, you say Average Joe's and you co-host the show. You bring on 3 fitness streamers of various training modalities and put them through stretching routines. Nice. Oh, that's great. When do you do that? Is it every like Monday night, or is it like a set schedule, or is this just random? Like, because that's something I want to check out. You said it's a lot of fun. Okay, cool. You said it's about once a month. Do you like post it? Do you post it like when you're going to be doing it, or is it just kind of like, do I just kind of got to be ready for it and catch it when I can? Because I want to check that out. That sounds pretty awesome. That sounds pretty badass actually. Yeah, and that's cool because, I mean, you'll see dudes that are like I used to be a lot more jacked, like in my chest and upper body, right? But like there was a point where I couldn't even turn my head. I couldn't even turn my goddamn head because I wasn't doing stretching, and it was messed up. Here's when I realized it was a major problem. I was driving down the street and I had to turn my head to look to see if a car was coming, and I couldn't fucking do it. I was like, why can't I turn my neck? And like I couldn't do it, so I had to turn my whole body. And I was like in the chair, and like the seatbelt was pulling on me, and it was really weird. And I was like, this is not right. So then I got really big into like yoga and stretching and stuff like that after that, because we need balance, right? We need, it's important to have muscle mass, but you also need flexibility. If you don't have flexibility, and it's also kind of painful, right? And you can hurt yourself easily, right? Let's see. You say yep. Once you figure out the next one, will probably be November. Okay, cool. Well, I'll ask you like when I see around Celti's stream, or if when I pop in your stream, I'll ask you when the next one's coming up once you figure it out, because I do want to check that out. That'd be pretty cool to see. Chad guy, you say Japan Shogun is a great true story as well. So Chad, are you big into Japan? Is this like a big thing with you? Like I've never heard you talking about Japan so much. All of a sudden you come in here today and you're all about Japan. Let's see. Chad, you say I heard about the winged hussars. It's a true story, a true history story. Winged hussars. I don't know much about the winged hussars. I don't know anything about them. There's a million things I don't know about. Hey, Victor Soar is here. Hey, how's it going, buddy? Victor Soar is a new streamer here on Twitch. A new streamer. He's been streaming like about a month or so. A super awesome dude. He does academic psychology journals. He reads them online, and it's pretty awesome. So definitely check him out. Drop him a follow. He's also an excellent chess player. And he does four-player chess too, which is pretty cool. It's a variant that I haven't tried, that I've never really gotten into. I just haven't had the time to get into it, but I'm definitely thinking about it. And he also inspired me to revisit my tactics game, and now I'm all in on chess tactics. I've stopped playing just chess as much, and I'm just going in. I'm trying to get my tactics rating to 3,000. I slipped down though. I'm noticing like I'll start like making progress, and then I'll get impatient, and I'll just kind of like self-destruct, and then I'll like drop like two or 300 points, and then I'll like slowly build up. And then I'll like self-destruct again. So I'm trying to not self-destruct anymore. It's a common theme with me. This has been a common theme throughout my life, where like I'm doing good, I'm like rocking, I'm like progressing right, and then I get like a certain level of frustration, and I just self-destruct, and I'm like, well, fuck it then. I'm just gonna like try to solve this puzzle in like 3 seconds, and if I can't do it in 3 seconds, I'm just gonna like try to do whatever. On an area you say you're going to lurk, though. That was technically your third workout for the day. Well, thank you so much again for the raid. Much appreciated. Thanks for bringing over your friend as well. And third work, that's a lot. That's a lot. Well, I love it. I love that you're so dedicated. Your dedication is an inspiration to a lot of people. So thank you so much, and thank you again for the raid. Super, super kind to you. Chad guy, you say you wish Shane was here. Yes, if Shane was here, he'd be talking all about it. He pops in every now and then. He's been in my stream before. But yeah, next time he streams, you can ask him about it, dude. I'm sure he'll give you like the coolest explanation. And the way he phrases stuff, and the way he actually explains things is amazing. He has all these these awesome details that are just that I don't understand how he remembers all this stuff. I mean, he's obviously not like a pothead or something, because there's no way he could remember all that shit if he was. But yeah, so Victor, sorry, yeah, I don't know. You say I will hit 3,000. The road from 2,800 to 3,000 is the hard part. I mean, I've gotten over 28. Yeah, my highest was 2,810. All right, and then now I'm like somewhere. I'm in the 2,700s, I think, or like I dropped all the way down to 26 something. I think I got back in the 27s today, and then I just dropped. Maybe I'm like right around 2,700 now. It's tough. It's more of a mental game for me though. Like if I'm patient and I can just sit there and not like allow, and be mentally tough, kind of like what you talk about in your streams with mental toughness when you were going over that article. If I can be mentally tough, and this is like a good challenge for me, because I have these self-destructive tendencies, but if I can like really like allow myself to not allow frustration to get the better of me, I'm pretty sure I can do it. But when I start getting frustrated, I'll start dropping points like crazy. I got to be cool-headed and balanced when I'm doing those puzzles. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. Let's see, Victor, sorry, you say, I hear you, man. Puzzles can be frustrating at times, especially if we have other things. Exactly, right? Like a lot of times, I'm like doing something, and I'm like, oh, well, I have a couple minutes. I'm gonna pop in and do this puzzle, right? And like I pop in, and like I'm not in a good mental space, right? Like I just got in a fight with like a friend, or something happened, or like like the other day, like my mom was like yelling at me. I called up my mom. I'm like, hey, Mom, how's it going? And she's like in a terrible mood because she's got to get like hip replacement surgery, and she was like just being like really negative, and I was like, I got off the phone with her. I'm like, that was a pleasant conversation, And then I like sit down and do some chess puzzles, and the next thing I drop like 150 points. It was pretty ridiculous. Let's see. Victor, so you say, in some ways, chess is unnatural, and that we don't have to think so deep before making decisions in everyday life. Yeah, right. I mean, how often in everyday life are you like really like calculating that deeply, right? It's just not like how it goes. Maybe for like big life decisions, yeah, you're going to think about them a lot, but like typically we're not like, well, let's see, if I do this, he does that, 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 and then I do this, right? You're typically not like, that's like intense. It's intense to train your mind to think like that and to be accurate, right? I'm playing a game against one of my best chess student that I've ever taught. And we're playing right now. This is for his black 3 belt. So in order for him to earn the black 3 belt, he has to beat me when I play down 1 pawn. So I have all my pieces except one pawn, the C pawn, right? I take off my C pawn, and he's got to beat me. So this kid I call him a kid, but he's a high school chess player, right? He's really, really good. And I made a tactical blunder against him, and now there's a chance. There's a chance that he's going to be the first student ever to earn this from me. This black 3. I ended up I traded my bishop for 3 pawns. It's kind of weird though. I have my center pawns. I fucked up tactic, and I lost my bishop for 3 pawns. I thought I was going to trap his queen, and it didn't. I at least got 3 pawns out of it, which you would think is nice, but we're starting to get close to endgame, and it's like, I don't know. Those pawns, they're in the center, but they're not. The farthest advanced one is on the 5th rank, so like it's gonna be close. It's gonna be really close. We'll see what happens. All right, let's see. Chad guy, you say heard about the Anunnaka. No, I have not heard Anunnaki. I have not heard about the Anunnaki. No, I have not. But I'm sure you know something about them. Let's see. Chad, you're saying to Victor, so don't encourage. He's bad behavior. Demand Agni learn more about history. I don't know history. They say if you don't know, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it, right? But I say that even those who know history are doomed to repeat it, right? It just seems like, because I've met plenty of people that know history and are like, I shouldn't be doing this. I know it's going to happen, and they do the same stupid shit, and then it all repeats. Victor, sorry, you say you saw your friend hit 3,000 on stream, and it just affirmed to me that it was possible. Hit 3,000 on stream, nice. That's pretty cool to do it on stream. Like I can't imagine. Like, I mean, I'm so focused on that stuff. Like, I don't think I could ever do that on stream. I'd be like losing my mind trying to talk to the chat and trying to focus on those puzzles. That's pretty awesome. Victor Sora, you say, yeah, of course we think deeply about big life decisions, but yeah, not every single step. Absolutely. I mean, I guess the closest thing for that for me would be like when I'm driving. I play weird games when I'm driving where I get super intense into calculation. So like, I'll be like I know all the length of all the street lights like around my area, and like I'll look at the street light down the road, and then like the one past that, and I always like to and I'll look at where all the cars are positioned, and I like to time it out such that I never have to come to a complete stop. So like I'll if it's a red light, I'll know the exact speed to travel with, such that like I can like have maximum fuel efficiency. I won't have to come to a complete stop, and like I'll be able just to cruise right when the light turns green and things like that. And then I'll calculate with the lights ahead and stuff like that. And then I'm also calculating like the different cars. Like I can tell like a lot of times there's a lot of like giveaways that drivers do that you can tell like, oh, this guy is going to be wanting to make a left-hand turn soon, so I better get in the right-hand lane, because I can tell by the way that he's turning his head to looking for something, and that the fact that he's not going as fast as someone typically would go in this position, right? Or hey, this person's texting, so like I can you take that into consideration. There's like tons of data when you're on the road. If you're a really careful driver, you can like really max out your fuel efficiency. It always blows my mind that there's some people out there that just like floor it into red lights. Like they'll like floor it into red lights and then slam on their brakes, and then like and then like I'll just then the light will turn green, and I like cruise by them because I calculated it right, and then they'll floor it into the next red light, slam on their brakes, and then I'm just like time it out and I cruise right by them because it's weird. It just blows my mind that there's some people out there that don't even. It's like they don't care that they're like destroying the environment. B, they don't care that they're putting like more wear and tear on their car. C, they don't care that they're like blowing gas, right? Unless they're driving an electric car, right? But like it's just bad on every level. And D, it's like more dangerous to like floor it into a red light. Like why would you floor it into a red light just so you can slam on your brakes? It blows my mind. Let's see. Victor, sorry, you say deep might be the wrong word. More like thinking intensely without even moving. Yeah, I could see that. Definitely. In sports though, sometimes you gotta like think really intensely, but you're moving, right? You're moving. Like you have to like kind of like if you're like a defensive back, you have to like get the read on the play, right? And you're thinking hard, but it's more of an instinctual thing, right? Yeah, with chess, you're just like frozen. You're like just frozen, and you're like focused on like a particular problem, and you're trying to solve it, right? Chad guy, you say. Oh no, your software crashed on you. You use a software called Blender for designing. Basically, your designs are all mini video games since it's all 3D. Well, that's pretty cool. Nice. Yeah. Dude, that is awesome. How'd you get into all that, man? Like, is this something you've always wanted to do? Is it like to own a construction company, or was this something you just like? Did you start out as just like a regular construction worker somewhere, and like on a team, and you just decided to start your own company, or what was the story with that? Victor, sorry, you say, you got me, man. You've been able to hit that a couple of times, getting to a complete stop within a few feet of your mark without hitting the brakes. Yeah, it does feel great, right? Just cruising, it feels good. I put way too much time into that calculation. I'm always calculating so much, and it drives the people that are sitting next to me like crazy. They're always like, "What are you doing?" Because they don't understand some of the moves that I'm making. Like sometimes I'll just get in the right hand. Like I always typically drive in the left hand lane. If there's a 2-lane road, right? And then sometimes I'm like in the right hand lane, and they're like, "No, we're going this way," and it's like, "No, don't worry, this is going to work out." And like with a very high level of probability, I can predict that car is going to make a left, is going to stop and make a left, or like that. I know the timing on the lights, and that I even know the timing on the lights at different times, because in rush hour those lights are set up to change differently than they change like during the day. What I would love to get, and I don't know if anyone out there knows how you can get it, like is there a way to find out like all the different timings on all the lights like throughout the whole country? Like that's what I want to get. I want to get that data, like how all the lights are set up. How this light will be green for 45 seconds during this time. This light will be green for 60 seconds during this time. This light we'll do this. This turn arrow will be only green for 5 seconds during the following hours, right? Like that would be cool data to get. I would love to be able to get that data. I don't know. I don't think it's possible unless you really know someone or hack the system, right? Victor, your story say it's crazy how similarly we drive. You also look ahead to be more efficient. Yeah. And what blows your mind even more is people who tailgate when the passing lane is wide open. Yeah, and then take a long time to. It's like, what are they thinking? Oops, we got blurry there for a second. Yeah, it's like, what are they thinking? By the way, there's something cool. I'm pretty sure this is the case, but chess players, it was proven they are better drivers than the general public. I forget if I read a paper about it or something, but somewhere along the lines there's a correlation between high level chess players and driving ability, driving aptitude. Like they get in way fewer accidents, and they're just much safer drivers. Because they're anticipating things, they're thinking ahead. Chess can really help you in a lot of areas in your life. Let's see. Chad guy, you say your dad built the company back in the late 80s and told you to go to school first. You was running crews at the age of 16, and you were going to college while still working. Took a lot of night classes. Whoa, dude, you were running crews at the age of 16. Oh, that's awesome. So you got that in your blood, man. Your dad was doing it. Your dad built the company, and then you were able to take it over. That's awesome, dude. Dude, well, congrats for you, man. That's got to be a cool feeling, like to own a company. I've never owned a company. I've never had that, But that would be the autonomy's got to be amazing, right? You can just, you set your own schedule. You make your own hours. You're the one in charge. You're the man, right? You're the guy in charge, right? That's cool. That's cool. But then you also have the tough things you have to deal with, right? Like when crews aren't being efficient, right? When they're fucking around, you probably have to step in and yell at them, right? Chad guy, yes, I ordered them today. I ordered the toe spacers today from Amazon. So we will see when they actually arrive. I think they're supposed to arrive on like Saturday or Sunday or something like that. But yeah, they're in the mail. They're not in the mail. They haven't shipped yet, but I ordered them today. I'm excited about them, and they say you can wear them inside your shoes. I don't know if I'm gonna do. I guess I'll do that, but like we'll see. I got to see what they feel like first. I didn't get the ones that you recommended, the ones that you posted on, because I just went with like the cheaper Amazon ones. But like we'll see if they're any good or not. But yeah, I mean it makes sense to me, dude. It makes sense. Victor, so Chad guy is a big proponent of like barefoot walking and he had a bunch of evidence in Discord about how shoes are not good for the feet, right? And it makes sense because think about it, human beings didn't evolve. We didn't evolve to wear shoes, and our DNA is pretty much like 99.9% the same as it was tens of thousands of years ago. We're not any different, physiologically for the most part. So it's you wouldn't shoes are weird. Shoes are weird. I mean now we have to wear shoes because of broken glass and things like that, but it's if you can do barefoot, like on the island. When I go to the island every year, I walk around barefoot, and it feels more natural, and I like the feeling of my toes gripping the ground. And then shoes they compress the toes. They my pinky toes are a little bit more in, and I feel than they should be because I have wide feet to begin with, and then shoes kind of push them in a little bit. So we'll see what these toe spacers do. Let's see. Victor Story, you say, yeah, you've never been in an accident in your life. Then again, you've never lived in the Northeast. You had to prevent at least one accident in the few days you did drive around there. Yeah, I mean, it depends where you live, right? So there's some places where, you're probably going to get an accident, even if it's something, and some of them are unavoidable. My good friend Danny John, who comes to this chat all the time, she's from the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and she says pretty much every single person she knows up there has hit a deer at some point just driving around, because there's just too many deer, and deer are stupid. They like to just hang out in the middle of the road and just stare at you when you're going 70 miles an hour towards them. And then if you try to dodge one, sometimes you hit another one, right? There'll be a family of deer just standing in the road, right? So those are the accidents that are very hard to avoid, right? It's tough. It's tough to always avoid accidents. I mean, if they're not your fault, that's the best case scenario. Let me tell you about I got in a crazy accident in 2019. So here is the situation. I'm at a red light, right? I'm at a red light, just waiting to go, and my buddy is in the car in front of me, right? And he's the first car, at the intersection, waiting to go at the red light, and the light turns green, and he starts going through the intersection. And, I start going through behind him, and all of a sudden, I'm hit, right? I'm hit. Here's what fucking happened. Here's what happened. This is the craziest situation. There was a high-speed chase. I don't know what the cause was, but this one dude had been chasing this other guy through 3 towns, right? And the other dude had pulled ahead and got away from the other guy, because the one guy was driving some old truck that was kind of slow, and the other guy was driving a faster car. And so I'm driving through the intersection like this, and the other guy is just parked right here, right? He's waiting for the light to turn, The other guy who had been chasing him sees him and comes up and smashes him, rear ends him as fast as he can. He's going 60, 70, 80 miles an hour right into the back of the guy, right? He smashes the guy. His car flies into the intersection, hits the back of my car. I spin around like a top in the middle of the goddamn intersection. And luckily I was okay because it hit the back passenger side. But it was one of the scariest things. I mean, imagine that just driving through a green light, and you're just smashed like that, and you spin around like a top. My buddy was in the passenger seat, and he broke some ribs. I was, and he was all fucked up. I was like, I thought I was like paralyzed at first because I couldn't move my neck, but it was just temporary. But it was crazy. Can you imagine that, to be that angry at someone that you, from like, road rage or something, that you chase him through 3 towns, and then the guy's parked at the light, and you just drive full force into the back of his car and knock him like a billiard ball into the intersection. That was crazy, right? And those are the kinds of accidents you can't avoid. There's nothing you can do for those, right? Chad guy, you redeemed cool glasses. All right, I'll get the cool glasses, and then we're gonna call it a day because I'm exhausted. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. I should always do the stream in these glasses. I never wear these, but they're kind of fun. Let's see. Where are we at here? Victor Story, you say, yeah, the big toe grips the earth. Isn't it the case? It totally is the case. Yeah, it feels good to have that, to have the toes gripping the earth, right? To grip the ground, right? Yeah. Valpo, you say, oh, you grew up in the UP. Awesome. Yeah, my good buddy Danny John, she's from, Hancock in the UP. Hancock, Hogan, I think, Hogan or Hoger, something like that. The Hancock Hogan area. I don't know if you know that area, but that's where she grew up. Yeah, she's from the UP, and she, it's beautiful up there. She owns property. Her family owns property right on Lake Superior up there, and it's like the most beautiful, pure air. Everything's fresh and wonderful up there. You're lucky to have experienced the UP to grow up there, man. That's pretty awesome, Valpo. Oh, you know that area? Nice. Yeah, I love going up there with her. We always hang out up there, and it's fun. It's just so relaxing. Like, there's definitely dude, in Chicago the air is garbage. Like, we're breathing in pollution, we're breathing in junk all day. But you go up there, it's like you just feel more alive. You feel more natural. You feel healthier. It's just a better feeling. I feel like there's like the fountain of youth is up there. But there's also a lot of heavy drinking that goes on up there too. so it's like, I think like if people were not heavy drinkers up there, like they'd like live to like 170. But because most people up there are heavy drinkers, it kind of balances it out a little bit. Let's see, Valpo, you say so you've driven through your hometown then. That's cool, yeah. The cool thing about where she's from, they have that crazy bridge. You know what I'm talking about? That it's like got that weird lift. There's like that weird lift that lifts up the bridge. I think it's like the biggest one of those bridges in the country or something like that. Your sister was born in. I wonder if Danny John knows your sister, because it's a small town, right? I wonder if she knows like part of your family. You should ask her next time she comes in chat. You should ask her, because it's a small world, man. It really is. Yeah, I guess I have driven through your hometown then. That's neat. Let's see. Where are we? Chega, you say, what's funny, you remember your parents yelling at you to put on shoes because you'll get sick walking barefoot when you were a kid. Yeah, and the funny thing is, it turns out you were right. Your parents, they thought they were protecting you. They thought they were doing like the right thing for you. But in reality, you were just like being natural. You're being your natural self, and you're like, no, this feels right. This is like the right way to do it. And your parents are like, no, we know better. And you're like, no, trust me. And they're like, nope, you gotta wear shoes. Victor, sir, you say, well, that's not your fault at all. No way you could have. Yeah, there was nothing I could have done. It was scary. It was just so crazy to have your car spin around. Like, I spun around 3 times. Like, think about the amount of force that is necessary to get my car to spin around 3 times in the middle of the intersection. It was madness. It was total madness. Like, 80 miles an hour probably into that car, and then directly into the back of my car. And it happened so fast, and then it was just such a crazy situation. Let's see, Noger, you say you saw an accident like that at once. It was madness watching the car spin. Yeah, cars are not supposed to move that way. You know, I mean, cars are not supposed, like, I've never felt anything like that. You know, like I had no idea what the hell had even happened. Like I was like so shook up. I was like, did I go through a red light? Like what the fuck even happened? Like, and my buddy's like, oh my, like I thought he was dying because he was like holding his chest because he had broken ribs and I thought he was dying and I couldn't move my neck. I was like, am I paralyzed? And then there was some fucking, it was the craziest part about it. So all this happened, right? So I'm stalled out in the middle of the intersection. I like can't move my neck. My friend is like thinking he's dying because he's like holding his chest and like can barely breathe. And like then like about a minute later, some guy, some like 16-year-old kid comes through the intersection like real slow and he's like, hey, what are you doing? You got to move your car. You can't just sit here in the middle of the intersection. My car's like fucking torn to pieces. Like, dude, it's like, he's like, you're going to make me late. You got to move your car. He's like honking at me. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, man? I'm like stalled out. I can't even turn my head. I'm thinking I'm paralyzed for the rest of my life. And this guy's complaining that he's going to be late to visit his girlfriend or some shit like that. It was crazy. It's like my car was like, couldn't even turn on. like what the hell is wrong with people? You know, like some 16-year-old kids like screaming at me to like move my car. Oh man, that was a fucked up night. Let me tell you. Let's see. Victor, sir, you say yeah, surviving spinouts are really scary. Counter steering, yeah. I mean, yeah, just spinning like that. I felt like I was on a carnival ride. It was so weird. Slick shades, yeah, they're. I don't wear sunglasses. I almost never wear sunglasses, but like, you know, I don't know. He did the cool redemption. Chad Gabber did the cool glasses redemption, so I gotta do it. Oh, a full 24-hour stream? No way, dude. No way. Kyrie, who comes into this stream quite often, Kyrie has done 24-hour streams. I can never do that. Like, what about like Noger? Could you ever do a 24-hour stream? Or Victor Sor, could you ever do a 24-hour? No way, man. My voice would be gone. You know, I'd be feeling like garbage. I think if you're just chilling and like playing a game, you know, like real like low key, you know, and like you're just like eating on stream, I think it could be done, right? But like I couldn't do. I the longest I've ever streamed was for like I did like I think a 5.5 or a 6-hour stream once. And that was crazy. That was like my voice was like this at the end, and I was like really like, you know, feeling kind of messed up and like weird after that. But yeah, some people can do the 24-hour streams. I'm not one of those guys. No way. Let's see. Valpo, he's saying the traffic pattern before the bridge is absurd. Totally. Dude, everything, that area, because of the bridge, it's like, and then she said that every once in a while the bridge like fucks up, and then like people are really screwed, right? Like when that bridge messes up, I don't know if she said it was like once a year or like once every few years or whatever, but like sometimes the bridge like messes up or whatever, and then like everyone's like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Because there's literally like no other way to get around, right? There's no other move, right? But yeah, but that bridge was cool. That was a lot of fun, like checking that out. I really like that area. That area is so awesome. Maybe I'll move there one day. Who knows? Noger, yeah, hell no. You never do a 24-hour stream. Dude, imagine reading analytic philosophy papers for like 24 hours. You don't, and I shouldn't say that. You don't read just analytic philosophy papers. You read all sorts of stuff. But like, imagine reading like academic papers for 24 hours straight. That would be fucking crazy, dude. Like, I don't know. I mean, you might lose your mind. That literally might be like a surefire way to lose your mind to do that. Chad guy, you say, would you rather live through that car accident situation again or have the prostitute situation every month? Yeah, those of you, we got to give a little context to that because that sounds funny. Those of you who don't know, so I'm like 16 years old. I had driven to the city. I'd driven to Chicago because there was a place called the Atomic Cafe where there was a bunch of like high level chess players that would play there. And I had just learned chess. I got a late start. I didn't learn how to play till I was 16, but I picked it up real quick. And by the time I was 17, I was the top board in my high school and took us to state. But anyways, I drove to the Atomic Cafe, you know, and I played my chess, you know, and then I'm on my way back. And like, I'm chilling at a red light, and this fucking prostitute just comes and like throws herself on my goddamn windshield. And she's just laying there, like with her face like this. like just like drooling, kind of like drooling on my and laughing hysterically, like on my windshield. And I'm like, holy fucking shit! Like, what's going on here? You know, what the fuck's going on here? You know? And I'm like, I said something like, get off my windshield, and she's like, she said something like real like snarky or whatever, and she was just like laughing, thinking it's the funniest thing. And finally we were able to like get her off. She was able to get off, and I floor it through the light trying to get her off, you know, and like she gets off, and then a cop fucking pulls me over, and the cop's like, you know, you went through a red light. I'm like, dude, what about the fucking prostitute that was on my windshield? He's like, I don't know about anything about that, but you know, if you give me $50, I'll, you know, you're not going to get a ticket. Otherwise, or something. No, I think it was $75. If you give me $75, you're not going to get it. You know, I'll just take care. He said, I'll take care of it myself. That's what he said. I'll take care of it myself. And I was like, I looked at my wallet. I had like, I think something like $56. I was like, I got $56, you know. And he's like, and he just starts writing the ticket. I'm like, dude, can we go to an ATM? You know, I'm like pleading with the guy, and he's like, he wrote me the fucking ticket. It was like, you know, $125 ticket. But yeah, I had this like fucking prostitute just like drunk prostitute laying on my windshield. Would I want that every month? No, I don't want that every month. That was a messy situation, and I got a ticket. So that means I'd be getting a ticket every month. So I'd lose my license. But yeah, that was a fucked up situation. But yeah, but then again, getting your car spun around like a top in the middle of the intersection is a messed up situation. So either way, you're in trouble. Victor Story, you say, you could do a 24-hour stream only if you had the proper motivation and state of mind, you think. Yeah, I mean, I think you'd have to prepare, right? You'd have to, like, you know, like really, like, hydrate. You'd have to, like, you know, do a bunch of meditation, maybe going in, you know, ahead of time. You'd have to, like, you know, really, like, have all your food situation planned out. You'd have to know when your breaks were going to be. You'd have to have, like, you know, all the content that you're going to present, you know, ready to go. It would be tough, but, like, I mean, personally, I couldn't do it. I mean, oh, sure, I say I couldn't, but if my life depended on it, yeah, obviously I could do it, right? If I had the correct motivation, right? You know, and that's what people say. People are always like, oh, I can't do X, right? I can never do X. It's like, yes, you could do X. You don't want to do X typically, right? It's like if you have the right motivation, right? You know, if someone's got a gun to, like, you know, the heads of like every single person you've ever loved in your life, then yeah, you know, like you could probably, like, you know, do something really, really difficult, right? But yeah, juggling Biohazard, you say that is wild. It was totally wild. And I was just a 16-year-old kid. I was a 16-year-old kid at the time, like having some drunk prostitute on my windshield. Like, I don't know. I didn't know what the fuck to do. And she just thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I think she looked at me, she looked at my face, and I was in horror. I was like, what the fuck? You know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what was going on. You know, and then she just, and that made it like even funnier for her. But yeah, so come to Chicago. That shit can happen, especially like down at like Cicero and Division, like at like, you know, 2 a.m. By the way, there was a liquor store there called Jingo. It was called Jingo, and this was like way back in the day. They used to sell 64-ounce bottles of Old English at this liquor store. This was so like my friends and I would like drive out there, and we were like 6, and they would sell it to like 12-year-olds. You didn't have to show any ID. You walked into this place. It was all bulletproof glass. And they had boxes of cereal like stacked up like this right next to like all the 40s, and then the 64 ounces of Old English right there. So my buddies and I would like drive up there like, you know, 15, 16 years old, and we'd buy like, you know, 64-ounce bottles of OE at like, you know, 3 a.m. It was pretty ridiculous. Noger used to drink OE, man. Yeah, dude. That stuff is so bad. But you know what? It was so cheap. And like, I forget, it was a pretty high percentage malt, right? What was it like? I don't know. It was pretty high percentage. It was such garbage. Like there was that. There was like King Cobra. I don't know if you ever tried that back in the day. Oh God, so disgusting. High Gravity. Oh God, this is not bringing back good memories, actually, to be honest. Though I don't even. Steel Reserve was another one I drank. That was my go-to because it was 8.1%. You know, it was like a 40 for $1.99, and it was 8.1% alcohol. It was so disgusting. Oh my God. How many of you out there have drank Steel Reserve before? Those are sad days. Those are very sad days. Let's see. No, you say at 12 conceivably, but 24 hours is probably beyond you and behind me in your younger days. Maybe you could. Yeah, right. Yeah, same. I'm older now too. It's like I don't want to fuck around and do like a 24-hour stream. Like it's just I don't have the motivation for that, right? And plus, like, what am I going to gain out of that? I'm going to be a wreck then. Like, then my sleep schedule is going to be all messed up. Work's going to be messed up. I'll probably like fuck up options trading, in the morning and like miss like I'll probably have to take a day off of work and be like just a complete wreck. I won't be able to teach my chess class as well. Let's see. Juggling biohazards. You say. More importantly, is staying up 24 hours worth exactly worth the health tax? Totally not. It's totally not. You see presidents age like cheese because of stress and lack of sleep. Exactly. Yeah, I'm not gonna put myself through that. Right? No way. Absolutely. Like, what am I gonna gain out of it? It's not like I'm gonna like become like some like rich famous Twitch streamer if I like stream for 24 hours. I'm gonna like what like. I'm gonna be like a wreck. I'm gonna, mess up my career stuff. I'm gonna, I don't know. I'll just feel like garbage. I'll probably get sick or something. I mean, it's not great. And plus, I'm not one for sitting. I don't like sitting for long periods of time. I've been streaming 2.5 hours tonight. I'm ready to close up shop right now. I mean, I don't like sitting around. I like to be up doing stuff, right? Noger, you say, yep, with the fucking astrological signs on it. Yeah, all those old fucking 40s, man. Oh God. All right. Speaking of everything, closing it up. I'm gonna close up shop today. I think we're gonna end on a high note. Let me take these glasses off. That was a lot. It's been a lot. We did a lot. We did readings from the Tao Te Ching. I even brought out the old Mates Elementary Logic book. Mates does not draw a clean distinction between soundness and validity. He uses them interchangeably, which is something pretty interesting. And we had a great meditation and a lot of good chat today. So at the end of the day, I just want to thank you all so much for hanging out with me here tonight. Those of you who participated in the meditation, thank you so much. It was great sharing that experience with you. Those of you who talked philosophy with me or history with me, or anything, any conversation. We had a great group of people in here tonight. I love you all unconditionally. And at the end of the day, they just remember, everyone's out there trying their best. People are trying their best. If someone's acting like an asshole, usually it's because they're miserable themselves or sick or in a lot of pain. And sometimes so try to cut them a little slack if you can. And just try to be a good person to the people around you, because life's tough. As long as we perceive ourselves here within this, spatial temporal realm, I mean, things are difficult. Everyone we know is going to be dead someday. People grow, die, and, decay. And it's just tough. We got to get up, we got to work, got to do all the shit we don't want to do. So let's just try to be kind and loving and caring to the people around us. All right. Okay, and Valpo, yeah, it was so good having you in here. I'm glad. It's so cool that you're from the UP and that you know the Hancock Hogan area, all that stuff too. That's cool. I can't wait to talk to Danny John about that. And Juggling Biohazards, welcome to the stream. It's great to have you in here. Welcome. I stream mostly guided meditations, but I do other stuff too. Let's see who's out there, who we're gonna raid. All right, let's see who's in the world right now. All right, who should we raid? Right. Oh, okay, Mary Amber's streaming. I haven't raided her in a while. We are going to raid... wait, hold on a second. No, hold on. Did they change their name? No, oh yeah. They're not streaming right now. They must have just logged off. All right, so we're going to raid Mary Amber. Okay. Mary Amber is a awesome streamer. She was a former Australian ping pong champion, Australian ping pong champion, I believe. Let me get the raid call out there, and then you guys can copy and paste, and we'll do this. We'll send some love her way. She's really cool. She supports mental health a lot, which is another reason why I really like her. She does charity streams. She even has she's a musician, and I like supporting the arts and music. And she's she does a lot for the mental health community, which is so important because, I mean, especially with COVID, like they say we're in a mental health crisis now. I mean, who doesn't have mental health issues these days? Right? So we're all just trying to make it. We're all just trying to get through another day. So yeah, we're gonna rate her, send some love her way. She's awesome. She's a cool human being, and she's a lot of fun. She's also a comedian. So like she does comedy. She does music, and yeah, just send some love her way. Thank you all again so much. I love you all unconditionally. Namaste.